Every year, when the gates swing open at the Kentucky Derby and the jockeys are finally off, racing fans will have consumed 120,000 mint julep cocktails made from Kentucky bourbon. Today, it's a boom time for bourbon. Legendary distilleries like Four Roses, Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey, and Woodford Reserve are brewing as much of this liquor as they possibly can to keep up with demand. And that's what makes this distillery so strange. It once brewed a famous bourbon that went famously bust. This is all that remains of the Old Crow Distillery. Rusting vats, blackened stone, and deserted warehouses. This haunting site once bottled a legend, Kentucky's original Old Crow bourbon. It was the creation of James C. Crow, who's considered by many bourbon aficionados to be the father of Kentucky bourbon. Way back in 1835, this Scottish brewer invented the sour mash fermentation process that is still used by almost all of Kentucky's bourbon makers today. Nearly 2 centuries ago, these vats were alive with the sounds and smells of Crow's legendary concoction. It was so prized, it was said to be a favorite of President Ulysses S. Grant and Mark Twain. So what caused Old Crow to go bust? In the 1960s, the company that brewed Old Crow altered the original recipe, which changed the taste. A fatal mistake. Old Crow devotees abandoned it in droves. In 1987, the liquor giant that owns Jim Beam bought the brand, but jettisoned the distillery and the original formula. If Old Crow hadn't gone bust, it's possible that the thousands in these stands would be getting their mint julep cocktails with Old Crow bourbon instead of with Woodford Reserve, which is now the official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby.